My name is Jake, and in this video we'll be talking about the new Shokz OpenFit 2 Plus, which is a long name, but there is a good reason for it. I've been test riding these for over 30 days, and I've got some thoughts, and I think you might be surprised what I've got to say. Also in this video, our new dummy Steven will have his first appearance. Steven is a binaural microphone head, which might sound a little bit dramatic, but it is the best way to showcase how these actually sound, and we'll compare them to Apple AirPods 3 Pros, because it's the kind of flagship model for Apple and probably one of the best-selling earphones on the market. Before we jump into any of this, you need to remember that these headphones are designed for you to be able to be aware of your surroundings whilst doing other activities. That doesn't necessarily have to be running or cycling or gym workouts, but also if you're around the kids around the house. The idea here is that you get really good quality of sound without compromising their safety or your safety if you're running on the road. So you can't expect any noise isolation in these. Now, one thing we should be definitely expecting of these is an amazing sound, because as Shokz claims, these have Dolby audio. That should set the bar pretty high, and this is exactly where we're going to place these. We're going to talk about how good the sound is, because we know Shokz is really good at being able to make us aware of what's going on around us, with plethora of different open-ear headphones, from bone conduction to a mix of bone conduction and air to these guys. Now, the concept for these isn't new. I already talked about the light version of these about a couple of months ago. I'll link the video somewhere down in the description. These supposed to be a massive upgrade. If you bought OpenFit 2s in January, I don't think you need to have a massive FOMO, unless you're gonna hear a massive difference between what you have and how these sound when we switch to Dolby. Odd. Would I say they sound as good as Bose or even, well, I know people hate on them, but Apple AirPods Max? No, but they are substantially better than I actually expected, because when these come out, or at least marketing for them came out, I reached out to Shokz saying like, listen, please do send me these. I'm not gonna bullshit anyone in my review, but if they're as good as you say they are, it should shine through. Now, you can take it as you want, but with all my reviews, if anyone sends me anything for a review, they're opening themselves up to a critique. I don't really care if brand's not gonna like me after that, because I'm not doing this for their likes. I want to make sure that you're not gonna spend your money on marketing bollocks. If that makes sense? I just feel that everything's getting very expensive lately, and I really don't want you to waste your cash. So stick around to the end of this video. We'll discuss the pros and cons, and obviously the different sound samples coming from these depending on the settings. The big thing about these headphones is the fact that they don't come off your ears when you're doing any activities. So if you're in the gym, if you're running, if you're cycling, generally speaking, these will stay in place. And because they are so super light, you can't really feel them. And I've been wearing them pretty much the whole day. And yeah, they just sit around your ears and you kind of forget that they're there. My problem with the any other earbuds that go into your ears, including the AirPods 3s, which is annoying because AirPods 2 Pros were perfect and I lost one of the earbuds and I got 3s. Anyway, they do become uncomfortable after a while, whereas these, like I said, they become almost unnoticeable. The other massive difference between an over-ear headphones like these guys, well, over earlobes, whatever, however you're gonna call this, is that they generally don't get affected by you sweating. Now, if you ever worked out in any earbuds, you know that after a while, unless, I don't know, you're so massively dehydrated you don't sweat, they will slip out of your ears. There's zero chance of me ever working out or cycling or running with the AirPods, because they keep falling out, or at least they get dislodged and the sound gets shit and you have to correct them all the time. It's a nightmare. With these, this is kind of solved. Now, I've touched upon the fact that I've had them on my ears pretty much the whole day. Let's talk about battery life, because that is quite important, especially if you're going for longer runs or you want them last whole day. And I can definitely report that they do last whole day. Shokz is claiming 11 hours on the full charge. Now, I can't claim we got 11 hours. What I can say is that after a full day of work, I was left with about 25%. So a full day of work as in maybe a total of 8 hours, which is a pretty good score. Now, in terms of recharging these guys, if you drop them in your case for a fast charge, if you find them for some reason discharged, like I do when I keep forgetting to charge them, or anything else for that matter, it takes about 10 minutes to get 2 hours of listening time. The great thing that separates these from the previous OpenFit 2s is the fact that you can charge them wirelessly. Well, not the headphones, obviously, the case. So you can just drop them on the charging mat and bob's your uncle. It might not be a deal breaker for anyone, but it's a nice addition for sure. If you happen to run out of the charge completely in your earbuds, charging them with a case from 0 to full takes about 60 minutes. Charging the case itself with a cable takes about 100 minutes, and charging it wirelessly, I haven't got a clue. I never discharged the case completely. It gives you 48 hours of total playback time. And because it's got wireless charging, it kind of gets dropped on the charging mat all the time anyway. So I don't find this massively relevant. What I'm kind of guessing is going to be the double what cable does. Now, in terms of the total talk time, you get about 36 hours. Bottom line is the battery life is fairly solid on them, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. I've also touched upon being sweaty in these. Now, they are IP55 certified, which means light rain, sweat, dust, all this kind of stuff is absolutely fine. I made this shower test at the very end of testing these because I really don't want to wreck them. Now, they survived, they sound just as well as they did when I got them, and just a massive disclaimer, please don't jump in the water in them, that's not what they're intended to be. Get the OpenSwim Pros, they're much better at that, but it just shows that they can survive getting really soaked, so I'm pretty stoked with that. One of the obvious things right now at least is multi-point pairing, and these have that as well. You can have two devices connected at the same time, but you can also have loads of them listed in the app, and you can just switch in between them. So if you're out of range of your two designated devices, say you have your phone and in my case Steam Deck, if I'm in my office, they pair up with my Mac and my iPhone and I don't have to do anything, which is awesome because it just takes away that connecting, reconnecting situation out of the picture. And talking of the app itself, Shokz had the same app for quite a while and it just works. It allows you to adjust the equalizer and switch off and switch on the Dolby. And this is where we're gonna jump into the Steve testing these guys on, so you can actually hear how they sound versus everything else. And now, just a quick warning is that it really depends on what you're listening to this video on, so I would highly recommend headphones for this that are not too bassy, or your standard headphones. It will give you more of an idea of the difference between them, but might not be exactly representative how they sound, because obviously it depends on your output. So, let's get into that.
I will be the last to leave. I won't say a word, just let you breathe. I won't make a sound, I won't slow you down. I will be the last to leave. I won't say a word, just let you breathe. I won't make a sound, I won't slow you down. I knew we were on borrowed.
Now that you heard the sound from them, please drop a comment below. Let me know how they sound in comparison to the other headphones we've tested. Now, with Shokz being Shokz, these guys have actual buttons, physical buttons, man. I'm super stoked about this because what's happening right now, including companies like Bose, they're getting rid of physical buttons for the touch controls. No one wants touch controls, just as much as we don't want touch panels around our cars. We want physical buttons that we can play with and we can feel them when we're touching them and not accidentally skipping tracks. Now, this is a standard multifunctional button, so your usual double tap to go forward, triple tap to go back. If you press once, it's gonna pause and play. Super that simple. If you want to increase volume and decrease volume, if you press and hold on your right bar, it's going to increase volume, on the left, it's going to decrease it. Now, Shokz is claiming that these have two microphones on each side, producing crystal clear sound thanks to its AI. So this is with that noise cancellation, with the AI beautifying my voice, switched on, recorded onto my iPhone 16 Pro. So in terms of how they sound when we're outdoors, this is it. It is pretty windy. We're on these beautiful cliffs. Whoa, shit! Yeah, that would be my ankle going. We're on these beautiful cliffs in Scotland. There's a little bit of wind, not massively because we're slightly shielded. But yeah, this is what you can expect if you're making a call. Oh, straight in the eyes with these headphones. Let's go back in the studio. It is freezing. It's like 2 degrees. Just for a quick comparison, we are a little bit more shielded from the window. This is how the Oakley Vanguards sound, and I'll drop a full review on these because I think they're a significant improvement over the Metas, especially for sports people. So we'll jump into that in the next review, so be sure to subscribe. Okay, and honestly, listening to the audio back, I wouldn't say this is revolutionary, but I haven't heard headphones, and I know there's a lot of boasting about Apple products and Sony, that sound quality coming from them is somehow superior to everything else. I honestly can't hear that. Every single earpiece that you use to talk to other people sounds like you have an earpiece. I think, honestly, the closest I ever got to fairly clear sound are the AirPods Pro 3s. But again, if you've got a choice, if I've got a choice, I prefer just to hold my phone up because it sounds just much, much better. One of the questions I've seen on Reddit being asked over and over if these are universal fit or do they plan to make two different sizes, and the answer is they don't, and actually they do fit most of the ears. Unless you're massively oversized ears, then that might be totally different situation, but for majority of people these are absolutely fine. My kids are wearing them, and I was wearing them, and there was zero issues whatsoever with the fit. In terms of sound quality, I think these are much better than pretty much anything else I've tested in the open ear environment. Whatever Shokz have done to these, they do deserve a praise on this one, because going into this review, as I mentioned before, I didn't have massive hopes. Typically when companies claim they've got Dolby this, Dolby that, it doesn't sound that good. It just basically gives you more bass. That's what most businesses do right now. And with these ones, I have to admit the sound quality and the tonality and the whole soundstage is much wider than I would expect from this kind of design. But obviously everything depends on your music taste, so let me know down below what you think. I would say these are absolutely awesome for everyone who does any kind of sports, outdoors or indoors, or does stuff around other people and you want to be able to listen to them whilst listening to your music by ignoring all the extra noise coming from their mouths, because you can focus on what's going on in your head. However, if you want something you can swim in, check this video next.